Hey, everybody. Have you ever thought about all of the different emotions and feelings that go with co parenting? Let's talk about it. Hey, guys. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. I am your host, Fran, for the Impact Chasing podcast. And thank you so much for tuning in to my YouTube channel. I'm just so stoked to talk about this subject that I think really needs to be discussed. And I'm going to be 100% transparent. So, quick story. Here we go. So, I was once married, but now I'm divorced. And we share an amazing, soon to be 5-year-old son. And co-parenting is something that I never thought that I would be doing, just to be quite honest with you, because first of all, nobody gets married and says, "Oh, looking forward to my divorce." Like nobody says that. You get married with the hopes of remaining married, raising your family, having a healthy family unit, and you hope and pray that you don't divorce, because you want it to thrive. I mean, that's what I desired. So my marriage did not work out, and we decided that it was best for us to separate, depart, divorce. Some things cannot be mended. And so we felt our marriage was that. So when that started happening, when I moved out and I started, meeting up with my ex-husband, it was really awkward because it was like, okay, I'm going to get him on Friday. You could pick him back up at this time. We had specific locations where we met up at because of all of the emotion and anger, whatever it was that we were feeling towards one another. We didn't go to the house. We didn't meet up at each other's houses, right? So after meeting up and everything, there was like, when this first happened, I used to have so many emotions, like so much anxiety. I would be in the parking lot when they pull off, just like crying, because I'm like, this shouldn't be happening, and now I'm so attached to, having my kid around all the time. It's like, dang, I wonder, is he okay? So then guess what I'm doing? I'm texting, I'm calling. Hey, is he okay? He eats at this time, he does this at this time. And then the other parent doesn't have the opportunity to like really develop the type of bond that they need to have during their time. It's just so loaded. And so everybody talks about relationships and parenting and family, but nobody talks about what happens when it don't work out. What happens when you go from married female in a with the child to a single woman that is now divorced that has to co-parent with their ex-husband. People don't talk about that. And I said, with the holidays and everything, I found myself, this holiday was very hard for me. For whatever reason, I was overly emotional because co-parenting is not easy, because both people have to be on the same page. And the truth is, in most cases, women tend to do more than the men, and there are some men that do more than women. But is it about that? What is it really about? And for me, I'm a firm believer in fairness, but I'm also very understanding. You know what I'm saying? I may be understanding to a fault, depending on how I work and how he works. I was willing. I was willing to say, what? If you work this particular schedule and I work this schedule and mine's a little bit more feasible, I'll just let you get them on your days off. Meanwhile, I don't get a break though. You know what I'm saying? And so there has to be conversations about what is in the best interest of the child. The child should always be, the most important thing. And this holiday season, I got to thinking like, dang, I'm really divorced and this did not work out. And we have this amazing kid. And then I felt sad for him because he misses out on so many different moments, so many conversations. And then I started feeling, I said, you know what? I understand it could also be like a trick of the enemy, to make you focus on everything you don't have or anymore, and a lot of people stay in relationships, stay in marriages for the sake of their child, or children. And I don't feel like that's fair. I think that if you and that person are not working, it is imperative for y'all to find a solution. Just to say that, oh, my child comes from a 2-parent home is not enough. Because if the 2 parents in the household are in constant fight mode and a child is not seeing a loving environment, yeah, like my mom and dad, they together, but my dad sleep in this room, my mom sleep in this room. They're always fighting. They barely talk. I never see him love on her. I never see her love on him. That's just as toxic. And I don't think that that's healthy just to say, oh, well, at least my child's in a 2-parent home with no love. Personally, my son asked me the other day, this is kind of like what triggered all this. So he's at the table. He says, Mom, is there any way possible? He was like, Mom, I want you and Daddy to be in the same house. And I was like, here we go. Oh, here we go. And I asked him, I said, do you want to be happy? And he said, yes. And I said, well, are you happy? He says, yes. I said, good. I was like, Mommy and Daddy have to be happy, right? Because we want you happy. But we can't be happy in the same house. That's why you have 2 houses. Daddy has his house. Mama has his house. Because we want to make sure you happy. And he said, okay. And the truth is, a 5-year-old, 4-year-old is not going to understand what's going on, But I felt so guilty. I'm going to just keep it a buck. I felt so bad. I was like, dang, am I wrong for leaving? Am I wrong for choosing me? And am I wrong for not allowing my son the opportunity to see him and his mom married and thriving in the same house? But we weren't thriving. And I said, no, I will not allow guilt to make me feel like I was wrong for leaving the situation because it was for the better. It just was. And so it made me think about the sadness that is associated with co-parenting, especially during the holidays. You get them this holiday, I give them this holiday. You give them half a day, I give them the rest of the day. It's so sad, But even though it's sad, we still got to talk about the other side of the coin, right? I would rather be sad for a few minutes, about having to co-parent and just on the flip, be grateful. Yeah, be grateful that his father, that my ex-husband is an active, that he's spending time with his son. You know what I'm saying? Because some people co-parent with people who don't even call, text, pick up, do anything for their children. And it can be women or men. Some people just are not like good for co-parenting with. So I'm saying that to say, before you lay down with anybody, you really need to think about like, hey, how would this person be as a mother? How would this person be as a father? Because the truth is, there is a possibility that this person could have a baby with you, then what? And I'm so pro family unit, healthy family unit though. Not to just say that, hey, we're a family, we have matching pajamas, but to say, hey, we have a healthy family unit where it's God, husband, wife, children, where the husband is providing, where he is protecting, where the woman is nurturing, the wife is nurturing, doing what's necessary for the children, and that they share, those responsibilities as far as the children are concerned. Just depends on the dynamic that you want for your situation. But that's what I believe in. I believe in doing what works for you, but not just doing it for the gram or doing it for Facebook and TikTok just for the sake of likes, because life is not a game. You understand what I'm saying? Having children with somebody and you carrying all that load is not okay because you didn't make that child by yourself. So before you lay down with somebody, really think about that, because if they get pregnant, you get somebody pregnant, what you gonna do then? If you're not married to them, and if the marriage doesn't work out, then you gotta co-parent, because the parent not only just has mom, the child not only just has mom, the child has mom and dad. So, as time has progressed, because it's been 3 years for us, as far as co-parenting, is concerned, and we've kind of found a flow. We meet up, we have the conversations that we need to have, and we keep the child strictly the topic. If he gets to talking about something else, I enforce the boundary. Like, yeah, I hope that works out for you, but let's just keep it about the baby. That's just where I'm at. I'm not gonna play with you, and I mean, we'll always be family because we created a child, but let's not have all those other conversations. It's not necessary to me. So, I was thinking about solutions with co-parenting, to kind of help with the sadness of it, and just accept it. Just accept it that, hey, this situation didn't work out. Maybe this person was the vessel that my child had to go through. Be grateful for that, because some people can't have children. And so I'm grateful. While I hate that the marriage did not work out, I am grateful that we created an amazing person. And personally, I believe that, well, I know I got this type of faith, right? Because I know God don't lie. I know that the time is going to come where I'm going to get married again. My last marriage. I'm staying in that one forever. I know that that's going to happen again, right? And I'm praying that he also gets married again as well and finds his person. And I'm hoping that all of us can just have a beautiful blended family situation and support our child, because that is what it's about. Keep the child at the frontal at all times. And I am very intentional about ensuring that my child sees me being loved properly. Now, let me say this. Not necessarily loved properly by someone else, although that is a desire. My child and your child needs to see you being loved properly by you. Yes, daddy deserves to be happy. You do. Mama deserves to be happy. You do. Mama needs to love on herself. You do. Daddy needs to love on himself. You do. And your child needs to see you doing that consistently. Because what that does is let them know that it's okay to make sure that I'm okay first. You can't help me if you don't help yourself. My son he blows my mind. Sometimes when he's feeling away or something going on, he'll say, Mom, I need a moment. 4 years old, be 5 tomorrow. He'll say, Mom, I need a moment. And you know what? I taught him to let me know that, because these children are little human beings that are trying to figure it out. They don't know how to process their emotions. We are the blueprint for them. And they don't necessarily do what we say. They do what we show them, And then sometimes they choose to just do what they want to do. And I try my hardest not to internalize what my child does, because that was a choice, even though, especially with me showing him a certain way. So with co-parenting, man, just be fair. Be fair. Be honest. Find a schedule that works for the both of you all and do it. It's all about balance. Let the person know if you need a break. If it's not their week or weekend, just be honest. Keep the kids at the front. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. Set boundaries. What does that look like? There's no need for that person to be calling you all the time. My ex-husband doesn't call me. He'll text me certain things like asking about when are we meeting up? Does this day still work? I need to change the time. Things like that. And I may text him and tell him something Trey did. But most times my child will call his father himself. But all of that, I do know some people who were in relationships with people and they have children with them. And so it was more so like, oh, well, we just had a baby together. We were dating. We had a baby. But our relationship didn't work out. But I still want to, have sex with them or whatever. You don't need to have no sex with that person if the relationship is over. No. When I walked away from my ex-husband, excuse me, I didn't return. I didn't play that game. You don't get to dip and dabble, in the pool anymore. It's a wrap for that. So like I think that if you are dealing with your baby daddy or your baby mama or your ex-husband, ex-wife or whatever, and you got a kid together, you playing a dangerous game. Leave it alone. Be together if you're gonna be together. If you're not gonna be together, don't be together. So set those boundaries. Let them know they can't call you. Let them know that this ain't that. Whatever works for you, whatever those boundaries are, enforce them. Because there's nothing more crazier than having boundaries and then not setting them and enforcing them. You got boundaries, but you don't enforce them. That don't make sense. But so co-parenting is not the easiest thing. And around the holidays, I was really, really sad about it. But I had to remind myself, this was the best decision that was for the greater good, even if it didn't feel like it. And just know, that what God has for you in your future, I'm praying that it's better than your previous situation. Not to say that those people are bad people, that situation just didn't work out, and I have accepted it, and I am grateful to God for those experiences. Co-parenting, we got to rebuild these communities. We have to rebuild family. We have to ensure that it's healthy and stop the toxic cycle. There's nothing cute about being toxic. In my opinion, I think it's extremely, like you might be pretty miserable if you're promoting toxicity. I believe ensuring that my son is nurtured and that his whatever it is he wants to do as far as his gifts and talents are concerned, that I help him reach that, because that's why God put me here, to make sure the gifts that he has, that he does his purpose in this world. And his dad has a purpose, and I want to make sure he does that too. And I wouldn't wish him any ill will. Like, that's stupid. That's my child's father, always, no matter what. My new husband will be just considered the additional dad in the house, and his additional mom will be his, she'll be there for him. So it is what it is. So we got to make sure we're working together to ensure that we restore healthy families in our communities. And that starts with healthy co-parenting if the relationship doesn't work, So if the relationship didn't work out, make sure you take time to work on you, love on yourself properly, so that your children can see you doing what you need to do for yourself. Communicate effectively, be kind toward one another, don't argue in front of those kids, learn how to walk away and set a time for conversations, and last but not least, always do what's best for the children. And no matter what you do, make sure that you are chasing impact and that you prepare for your future by starting today with what it is that you desire as far as relationships are concerned. That's going to be another topic for another day. But I want to thank y'all so much for tuning in with me. Co-parenting is not easy, but it can be done effectively. Have a great day on purpose. See you next time.